What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more The Cure from their 1987 album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. And the next song on the playlist is How Beautiful You Are. The phrase sounds complimentary. The styling of it is a bit poetic or lyrical, meaning you're not saying you are so beautiful, but to say how beautiful you are. Again, there's a bit of a classical phrasing to that. I will also observe that with Robert's songwriting, where there are often, if not outright dark, certainly nuanced and complicated psycho-emotional understandings and expressions, I wouldn't be surprised if it is not simply complimentary, or maybe not even complimentary in a sincere manner. But yes, on the surface of it, it sounds like someone is paying a compliment to another person's beauty, which of course could be physical or exterior beauty, but it could also be psycho-emotional beauty or interpersonal beauty. So yes, there's a clear sentiment being expressed, but the sincerity of that sentiment and the context of that sentiment is unclear. Let's see what I can catch on a first listen. This is The Cure, the tune is How Beautiful You Are, and it's from their 1987 album, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. beautiful and strange. Till you spoke and showed me understanding is a dream. I hate these people staring, make them go away from me. Falls, I said, beautiful, beautiful you are. The boys, I said, how beautiful, she glitters like a star. Charles' eyes uttered nothing but quiet down and utter joy. Still my heart with sadness for the way we are, for the way we are, for the way we are. This is why I hate you, and how I understand. No one ever knows or loves another, or loves another. I love the composition of that, which in a lot of the Sonics feels very center lane for The Cure. Again, it has a bit of that indie pop, like catchy, but also with a bit of darkness to it. Obviously, like there was that pulsing bass line that feels very, again, prototypical Cure. Obviously, Robert's voice, it's in its center range. It feels like he's not doing anything too eccentric or too unusual here. It's, his wonderful voice, which, just has all that emotional feeling and depth and sometimes angst and intensity in the delivery. But there's also like elements here that are sort of on top of what would normally be a Cure song. Like there's that violin, which was a very nice flourish. There's some like piano line melody, which also was very engaging. Then there was like, I was trying to figure out, like, is that an accordion? At first I was like, wait, no, that's just the strings, right? Wait, no, I think that is different. So I think there may have been an accordion in there too. So again, guitar, bass, and Robert's vocals, very much what I've come to expect in terms of the sonic atmosphere of a lot of Cure tunes. Now, of course, there's a lot of variety over the material that I've already heard, or even within a specific album. But yeah, there's a lot there that I've become familiar with, but those other instruments, they almost felt like they were kind of grafted on top of a typical Cure song, and so they gave it this like tension in a way that I think really works, especially the violin. I feel like that was a really nice addition, again, sort of on top of the regular Cure sonics. And there was also a bit of dissonance or like tension in terms of the melody at a couple points, like being a bit anxious, a bit uncomfortable. And maybe that fits with the lyrics, though lyrics, I sort of picked up bits and pieces, and I don't quite know like the full narrative, but more on that in a moment. So yeah, I enjoyed the, again, sort of like synth rock feel of a lot of the track already, and then those other instrumental additions gave this one a very specific and particular flavor as distinct from a lot of their other tunes. Lyrically, okay, it starts and I have a sense like, okay, so, they were in Paris together and, it was raining and they were like walking somewhere. They promised each other they'd always sort of see things the same way, and they had some dream together and they were like waiting for nighttime or something. But then like it was like, oh, they came across an old man who I think was like with some boys or something, and I think even the title phrase was like addressed to boys, like how beautiful you are. But then it seemed to like continue on, and there was a point where I thought he was saying like he felt this shameful lust, and then there was a part later on where he said something to the effect of like it made him feel sad inside because this is how we are. And I thought, like, is he making a comment on human nature, or is this still like referring to that other person he talked about being in Paris with? We'll always have Paris, but like at the beginning, and this is like, a later reflection that, things broke down. We didn't do what we planned or what we promised. We didn't do, we didn't always have the same understandings. But again, I feel like there's clearly more to it, even if there is something there, because again, there was like they ran into this old man. I think they described him visually, and then if the title phrase is speaking to boys, which of course, it could be like young men referred to as boys, or boys in a psycho-emotional maturity sense, even if they are of adult age. So yeah, I don't know how it all comes together, and I don't quite know if How Beautiful You Are was relating to actual allure or appearance, or naivete or fragility. Like, I feel like there's a number of comments, or a number of concepts that phrase could apply to, and the meaning would be very different depending on the different directions you could take that. So yeah, lyrically I don't quite know what to make of this one, but another very enjoyable tune, and the kind of track, I don't think I've heard this one before, but it's the kind of track that if I heard it on the radio as a kid, it would be very much like what I've come to realize with some other Cure tunes, where it's like, oh wait, I know this one, I've heard this one before. This sounds like the kind of track that I would have heard listening to K-Rock in the 80s, listening to, my older sister listen to the radio, and so on. So yeah, definitely it feels like it's in their typical vein, and yet a bit different at the same time, if that makes sense. So yes, another cool Cure tune. I am looking forward to the remainder of this album. There's another one on here that I know by name and I am at least somewhat familiar with, so I've definitely heard one of the tracks upcoming before. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.